A gentleman who needs no introduction, a gentleman I respect a lot when it comes to matters athletics. Many call him the father of young athletes here in the country because he's the director youth technical, when it comes to matters athletics. And of course, chairman Athletics Kenya Nairobi branch. He has been the face of so much that has been happening from an athletics point of view. Mr. Barnaba Korir, I call him chairman, with us in studio. Chairman, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Abidi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
It's the first time we are meeting in the year, but it doesn't matter. It's been so hectic on you because going through socials, I've been seeing you all over inspecting, tracks, going around inspecting races. What has been happening from an athletics point?
Plenty. Has been, last year was very busy. We had so many competitions. Of course, the culmination of the Olympics, Paris Olympics, and also youth competition that was in Peru and Lima. That is now the World Under-20 Championships, and of course other competitions, weekend meetings, 10K road races, half marathons. Actually, Athletics Kenya has been doing a great job in ensuring that we are very busy because of the competitions, and we give also our athletes an opportunity also to compete and earn a living.
As you give the athletes, these podiums and the opportunities, Athletics Kenya has put in a lot, and the organization that has come in, you and the Athletics Kenya team seem to be very organized because you have a very fluid calendar. You can see that even some races, when you ask, you just click in into a button and you can see when they are slated, including, some of the big races. You can tell when Nairobi City Marathon will be run. It is there already signed, delivered, and it's in a document. What's the trick behind all this?
The trick, of course, is the organization itself, the structures that has been put in place for years, and the leadership that we have. Also, the grassroots development that arises from the sub-counties, counties, regions, and all the way to the nationals. I think that's the main reason why we are the best federations in the country, because we are organized, and the results are always there. We have events, which is international in nature. We have also competitions. We have also the development of youth. So the structure emanates from the grassroots, partnership with the schools, primary and secondary, with the universities, and of course the institutions like KDF Police, National Prison Services, and of course the others who have also come on board like KWS, Kenya Wildlife Services, and many others. So what I want to say is that in as much as sometimes we encounter some problems, I don't think there is another federation that can match what we do. And the leadership that we have, the support that we also get from regional chairman, county chairman also, and their structures, and that is why everything is running smooth. So we have a calendar that goes through January to December, and then it's structured in a way that we focus on the indoor when we have, although we don't have indoor field, we also compete outside. We have now the cross-country season that starts to prepare the hurdles for the outdoor. Then after that, now we go to the outdoor, and beyond that, we have the marathons interspersed in between, and then of course now other competitions that like the Diamond League. We have also other medium-sized events in Europe. So we are focused and preparing our athletes so that they can meet the challenges of competitions. So our federation, led by our able president, General Tuwe, has been able to make sure that athletics not only improves, but it grows and has the basics that enables to continue. So we move from even youth to the seniors and then to the retired athletes. It's a complete process that I think Kenyans should be proud of.
Chairman, of course we are proud looking at the performance of all the teams and of our athletes across. Allow me to ask this question. Is it intentional on how you put the program? Because if you look at some of our best athletes, there is always, a trend. Some of our best athletes pass through cross-country. Helen Obiris, Faith Kipyegon, Eliud Kipchoge, talk about Paul Tergat, talk about Faith Kipyegon, talk about Beatrice Chebet. They've been very successful from a cross-country point, and they eventually get to track. You see the results. What is the correlation between track and cross-country? Because if you look at their back history, you will see that they have a connection to cross-country. And I'm looking at your calendar, it starts off with the cross-country. What is the correlation of the two?
The correlation is straightforward. You know, when you prepare an athlete, I was an athlete myself.
Correct.
So you have to know the direction you are going. So you have a plan, and that plan is correlated to the competitions that you have. So that now when you start with cross-country, it is in a way preparing now the athletes for the indoor and outdoor. So that now as you compete in the cross-country, which is different from the track and field, it gives now the athletes the opportunity to build up, to ensure that they get proper training across the hills, the mountains. And then when they come now to the track and field, it will be easy now to see the speed, working on the speed that they have already attained, the endurance that they have achieved. Then you see our program is intentional, because we know we move from one stage to the next stage. And every stage will also propel an athlete to the next one, until the marathon. So we start with the young athletes. They focus on the cross-country and track. And as they grow, then they can go now from 800, 1500, all the way to 10,000. As years move by, you see most of them now transit to the marathons. So everything that we do has a relation to the next step. So that now, as the athlete moves on, then they also engage and care towards the next level. If you don't have that plan, you find that most of the athletes, they don't achieve that because it is not programmed. So anything that Athletes Kenya is programmed in a way that it helps the athletes to grow to the level that they're competing. You have the sprinters, they move on, you have the field events, then you have the middle and long distance, all the way to the end of the season. So every event is supported in a way that now they meet the needs of the athletes. That's what we talked on sometimes also, the problems that we are facing when it comes now to the stadiums when are not ready. So those who are really affected are the field events and the sprinters, because you know they need a technical part of it. They need also the tartan, the field, so that they can do their speed work there. So when they don't have that is when you find that we are not strong on the other side. But you go to the marathon, the long distance, you can run in the countryside without any effects, provided you have the tracksuit, you have the shoes. But the others, that's why we always ask the government to support us. Otherwise, we could be having an overall best team that supports the country, that also competes for, especially when it comes to, look at Omanyala. Yes, had an opportunity working in the field at the university, in Kenyatta University, they have the track there, and moving on now, so that they have an opportunity to train, to build up, to use the gym, so that they can build their body for preparation of the sprints. So if we have a complete structures like the infrastructure, like the stadium, and also the fields for field events, I can tell you that this country can dominate any event.
In all races.
In all races. So those are the things that we need, and I'm sure that Athletes Kenya has done every bit to ensure that our athletes continue performing well all over the world. Road races, marathons, track and field, Kenya is noticed at every competition done in all over the world.
Chairman, as we look at some of the images from past events you've just mentioned, Freddy Omanyala, and the equipments that are needed for sprints and stuff. Let's now go into the calendar itself. We've seen National Police Service, we've seen prisons. They are done with their cross-country. The teams have been selected. Last weekend we had the Eldoret Discovery Run. Now, all eyes focusing, towards Eldoret Sports Club next weekend, where we have the National Cross Country Championships. Are we set?
We are set. Central Rift is the region that will be organizing the event. with the support of the national office. We are working very closely together to ensure that we have a good event. Most of the regions, almost 90% have already selected their teams. And as you mentioned, the police and KDF and the others, they have already set camp. Some are in Ngong, others are in Iten, in Kapsabet, in preparation for the same. My team from Nairobi, we are ready also. We have sent some of that to train in different areas so that we can prepare, because now most of the venues for training is not available in Nairobi, but some we sent to Ngong, others we went to Iten and Keringet. So you can see now that when you talk about athletics, I mean, there's no comparison if we have to say the truth, because we have all the plans. Everything that is done is well planned. If you have seen the events that has been taking place in this country, leave alone even the international events, let us go to the structures of the cross country that we have recently, which is supported by other like Petika and the other companies. You can see the way it is. We had a chance even now, because of the support from Petika and others, to increase the amount of prizes our athletes will win. And we thank also the government for supporting events like Sirikwa Cross Country. We have also the Kipkeino Classic and the marathon that the government has come on board to support and give the financial resources to organize those international events that has really supported our athletes. And that's why you see Kipkeino Classic has produced some of the best sprinters in the world. We have had opportunities to bring in some of the top sprinters to come to this country.
Chairman, as you mentioned,
yes,
some of the top brought in through Kipkeino. I must say I was privileged, to witness Letsile Tebogo.
Yes.
And
honestly, if you see the performance of Letsile Tebogo, he was competing in Nairobi here.
Correct, 200 meters.
200 meters,
yes,
and he did so well. And this was even the moment that he was actually discovered. And he also said that his performance came out to be seen in the world from Nairobi here. Not only the Tebogo, we have others also from other countries that have come. So you can imagine now that the other day we had Jeff Saita, cross country.
Cross country, yes.
And for the first time, we were beaten at home. We have athletes from Uganda, especially the women, winning in our home ground.
Yes.
We have number 2 was from Ethiopia. So this is the kind of competition that we need, so that it is not only that our athletes that can go to Europe and compete and bring in the money. We want to show the world that, yes, not only that our athletes are the best, they can go and compete at every corner of this heart, but we invite also those athletes from other countries to come to this country to see for themselves, to participate in our events, which are organized to the same standards or better than those ones organized outside this country. And not only organization that is there, the kind of prize money that they earn also when they go is obviously sometimes even better than our artists collecting from there. The sprints we have in Nairobi here, we have athletes from Italy, from the US, from France, and the Caribbean countries. They come here. And they specifically compete in the sprint events, because it was intentionally done so that now they don't say, yes, we don't want to compete at a high altitude because of Kenyan athletes doing well in 5,000, 10,000 steeplechases and the others. They can come now and compete with our own athletes and others to win prize money, which is equivalent to any other continental tour event called. And that is the benefits of now organizing that. And that is why Kenyans have seen the growth of sports. If you go around now, all over the country, because of the programs that we have initiated by at least Kenya, the youth development programs, there is amazing numbers of interest from our athletes, from the communities to participate in athletics. But what we are trying to do also is to diversify what our athletes can do. We don't want only to focus on athletics. We want to focus on our athletes and education so that it can go hand in hand. So that those who are able to continue at the university level, and I've seen the universities now participating, they can now, the government can give them scholarship to these athletes to go to universities in Kenya, and they benefit from that. Those who are not able to make the grades, they can just join the basic minimum with the military, with the police, and other institutions that are here. And more so, those who are capable of running well and can be considered in other universities like in the US, Japan, and the others. This is how the structure should be. We want to make sure that we don't focus only on athletics. We focus on both athletics and also academic, and then the other life that our athletes also will have to go through when they stop running is what we need now, so that it's a complete thing that can support them. An athlete cannot just run and then tomorrow they make money and you don't see them anymore. No. They don't know how to manage it. They can't manage themselves. So it is the job of the federation, it's the job of the government, it's the job of the community to ensure that our young people are protected, given the opportunity to manage themselves, and so that as they grow, then they know how whatever they make in their lives, they can also be able to secure their lives.
So once in a while, Athletics Kenya, and I've seen this in Athletics Kenya in conjunction with the National Olympic Committee, organizing even financial literacy, training and clinics where athletes can know how to manage themselves.
Absolutely, this is what we are trying to do now. We want also the support from National Olympic Committee. Not only that, we want the support from the government. We want also the schools, primary, secondary schools, and other tertiary institutions to come on board, so that wherever those athletes are in school, they are also taught to be self-reliant, to be responsible as they grow, and then to have their integrity also. It is a communal thing. It is not something like that an athlete is running a champion and the athlete is praised for doing well, for winning gold medal, and it ends there. We don't want things like that. We want an athlete to be responsible, to understand that winning a medal is just part of it. But succeeding in life is the most important. We cannot continue now churning out champions that eventually, after several years, you don't even see them putting on shoes because they don't have any money remaining. They are not safe. So it will be a waste that the federation, the government, and other institutions produce the best marathoners, the best athletes, winning gold medals, but then what do they have to show afterwards? This is the key, and that's when the mindset of every individual must change now to see what is the end product of this athlete. Because we have and we praise them and everything. And then at the end of the day, what happens to them? So we need to look at it, and then the advice you give to athletes also, that they have to think about themselves, about tomorrow, so that we don't continue hearing very sad stories every now and then after winning the money. So what happens? They should pay attention, listen to their parents, listen to the people who are responsible to inculcate the responsibility into them. And then, as Athletics Kenya, you cannot police everybody in this country. No. That's why the policemen are not able, despite we have thousands and thousands, they are not able to stop criminals doing whatever. So equally the same for the federation also. You cannot police everyone. But then, the culture of responsibility must be inserted, must be told to the athletes to learn how to take care of themselves. And then the rules and regulations we are now putting on board is to protect these athletes from unscrupulous elements, especially if there is a coach who is not responsible, if there is ASP or athlete support personnel who is not following the regulations and whatever is required of them to do, then it is very easy now for Athletics Kenya to identify and take action immediately to protect the interests of the athlete. But the athletes also should be able to make decisions, and that's why they should be taught. They should be able to take their own personal responsibility to ensure that they know the good from the bad. Now they say you have to differentiate the chaff from the grain. Yes, from the wheat. So you have to be able to do that. How do you do that? By actually talking to these athletes when they are still young. What we are doing now from Athletics Kenya is going to the schools, putting them in camps, in bringing now the teachers, bringing in the parents, putting them together and having a discussion where the parents also know their responsibility on how to protect their children. The teachers has already been trained on how to handle these young people. Any other support personnel, a coach who is not a teacher or anything, then must also be given the rules to operate on, so that you don't just go and handle an athlete and you have not been trained to do that. That is exactly what we are doing now, and we had a meeting yesterday, and we are going to now to bring on board rules and regulations governing those ASPs, athlete support personnel, so that a coach cannot just be a coach. That coach has to be certified to understand they have to be fettered. They have to make sure that he understands or she understands the roles they must play in protecting these athletes. Because it is the responsibility of the parents, responsibility of the schools, responsibility of the AK, responsibility of the government to take care of our athletes and to ensure that they also grow up in a proper environment.
Well put, Chairman. Very important indeed in terms of taking personal responsibility and also a collective responsibility approach from teachers, parents, government, AK, and everybody. Chairman, we've seen a lot of potential from field events. Sawe has proved to us through high jump that it can be done. YouTube man, Julius Yego, has proved to us that it can be done. Paralympics went to the Olympics, came back with 1 medal, courtesy of long jump, which means that we can do it. Is Athletics Kenya trying to come up with a program that can maybe help us get some technical expertise so that we can nurture the talent that has already been shown? Because it's so clear that we have what it takes to be a force when it comes to field events as well.
Abidi, let me tell you, in this country we have an amazing talent, not only in athletics, but every other sport that exists in this country. In athletics, we have so much talent in the sprints, in the field events, and it's only that we have never had an opportunity to nurture them, simply because the infrastructure that we have is not conducive for them to train. The equipment that they have to use is very expensive, and at least Kenya cannot afford to buy for everybody. However, there is now a chance that when we went to Miramas, we developed some relationship with them during before Olympics. We started from Athletics Kenya, correct, sending now the youth to Miramas, and we have some of the athletes that came from Miramas. They already went to US for universities. There's a field events, javelin girl who went there from Miramas, a sprinter also that has also gone to US. So the idea here is Athletics Kenya is focused now on the field events and the sprints. We are now working very closely with the Stadium Management Board to give a chance to some of those athletes to operate in their stadiums, although we have very few stadiums which are operating at the moment. But whatever we have, we are utilizing that as we wait the completion of these stadiums. And I can tell you that the Federation now, we are, with the resources that we also got from Kipeno Classic and the others, every little money that remains, we buy this equipment. We already have starting blocks in Athletics Kenya. We are now developing the hurdles so that we have it in the stadium. We had already set aside a store at Nya Stadium, which actually we have started using it, but now because they took over to renovate it, we left it fast. But we had already that. The Federation has started working now with partners, especially with Nike, to bring some of those items. We had also the leadership of Nike last week here, and they have agreed also to give us some support when it comes to equipment. So this is now the main focus, is how do we support our sprinters, and we are going to do that. In schools, we go to those schools also to visit, and we see this young talent who have got a chance also in long jump, triple jump, javelin, and the others. Yesterday, we had a team of 3 officials from Athletics Kenya dealing with kids athletics. They were in Embu to support now on how to build the structures for the young ones. We have equipment that we were given also from World Athletics to use in now identifying these young kids athletics, to know which event they can actually participate in. And from there, when they have already identified what they want, then the coaches and the schools they are coming in from can now take over and say, yes, we have identified this one. But we have to know, a child can run, but you don't know whether which specialists they have or they are good in. Unless now we use some of those equipment that were given to identify if an athlete is a sprinter, is a javelin thrower or shot put, those ones will be seen and can be identified at early stage.
Wow, looking forward to the same. Chairman, they say, there is this say that what a man can do, a woman can do better. Of late, we are seeing our women doing so well in athletics. Beatrice Jebet, Faith Kipyegon, Mary Moraa. They started off with Pamela Jelimo, Janet Jepkoskei, Is there a turnaround on what's going on with our ladies? Because they've actually led the mantle. If you look at the previous Olympics and the current performance, the Helen Obiris, they are showing that, you know what a man can do, a woman can do better.
There is a transformative change when it comes now to the performance. When you look at the marathons across the globe, you find that the Kenyan women have done much better than men lately. And I'm not saying that the men are not doing well. They are doing very well. But now, before there were few women who were participating in athletics, both in sprints, middle and long distance and the marathons. There were few. But because of the performance and also open competition that they participated in, you realize that there are many women now taking part. And that also can explain the reasons why they are doing very well. Then, you see this, you know, the child, girl child, male child, you know. There have been so much focus on women. I'm not saying to the detriment of the boys, but you see they have been given more opportunities that they have also seized. And when you look at the women nowadays, they are actually more focused in training. They are very determined in achieving their goals, and they have done so well. So there is that change, and I'm sure that as we move ahead for the foreseeable future, the women are still going to do very well in comparison to males. And you can see now there is a problem. It is not only reflective of the society itself. You have seen even in the social lifestyles that we have, women are doing better than men. But when you come now to athletics, it reflects clearly the societal factors that is happening also in Kenya. That you go to schools, women have come up. You go to job, these established institutions, you find that women are doing well. But now there is that fear. The male child, or the boy child, will be affected, and I think it needs now to be handled carefully, so that it does not, the scales does not tip against the boys, and it will be another problem now to start leveling the same issue. But what I believe is that the girls are very determined to succeed because of the disadvantage that they had before and the fact that they have been challenged to do well. It is now our opportune moment to look at our boys also and say, yes, don't lag behind, let us work hard also to achieve like what the girls are doing.
And as we do this, should we be worried? Because it's a very transformative, like you rightly put it, because we can see in the yesteryears during your time when you were running, it was you, the Ibrahim Husseins, and from the ladies' side, we had only the likes of maybe Catherine the Great. You could count the number of women, but now there are so many. Should we be worried from a steeplechase point?
You see, I don't think we should be worried. What we need to do is to encourage the boys to focus on that. And we have done that. We had, it's very interesting because when we established 54 camps, we visited practically every camp. But I wanted, as a chairman of the youth, to find out what was going on. The numbers of boys and girls in a camp. And very, very interesting results was that the boys, sometimes in most classes, were less than the girls. You find that in those athletes registering in a camp, the girls were more, in more than one instance, more than the boys. So you find that camps, most of them who are turning up are girls. Therefore, what we need to do is, so that they don't feel left out, we need to balance and talk to them also to encourage the boys to come out strongly and to also participate like the girls. But we need now, during the conversation with them, we don't have to focus mainly on one gender. We have to be able to talk about both genders equally and with the same support that they require. If we don't do that, then we have a reason to worry. Because if you see now in all those camps, you find that more than 60 to 70% of those camps, girls are more than the boys, which is a complete deviation from the past. So the girls are registering more. You go to the schools, some of the schools within around the country, the entries, you find there are more girls than the boys. So it is changing, which in the long run, it might be counterproductive. But we are not discouraging we are not discouraging the girls to come, but we are encouraging the boys not to lag behind.
Not to lag behind.
Not to lag behind.
So it has to be two-front.
It
We
has
must
to be
all
front.
be at the same place going forward.
Yes, we have to.
Well, looking at the same chairman, we are keeping an eye on what's happening in Kajiado, where we have the National Judo League tournament. But before we link up with Kajiado, there we have it, the National Judo League tournament at the moment at Masai Technical. That's in Kajiado Training Institute in Kajiado County. That's Masai Technical Training Institute in Kajiado County, where we have more than 10 clubs taking part. The first Judo Games tournament of the year. So different categories taking part, including kids below 13 years, cadets between 14 to 16 years. Then you had juniors. Also taking part 18 to 20 years, then seniors above 21 years, for the same. We are following that, and the national tournament is hosted every month and is used by the Kenya Judo Federation to select the national team for this year's international assignments. It's also used to market judo as a sport. The selected team will kick off preparations for the Ambassadors Cup set for this month in Kasarani. Of course, Daniel Mwendwa is currently in Kajiado County and will be bringing us more details in a detailed report in our subsequent news bulletins. Remember, this is happening in Masai Technical Training Institute in Kajiado County, where we have more than 10 clubs taking part. The first Judo Games tournament of the year that saw different categories taking part, kids below 13 years, cadets between 14 to 16 years, juniors 18 to 20 years, and seniors above 21 years. The national tournament is hosted every month and is used by the Kenya Judo Federation to select the national team for this year's international assignments. This is also used to market judo. Remember, these are live pictures from the Masai Technical Training Institute in Kajiado County. Of course, our own Daniel Mwendwa will be, filling us in a more detailed report in our subsequent news bulletins. That is currently ongoing at the Masai, Training Institute in Kajiado County. But for more of this, we link up with Daniel Mwendwa later on in our subsequent news bulletins, where he will be giving us a detailed report of how that's been panning out. But here in studio, as that was happening, also joining us is none other than Mary Moraa, very famous, started off at Kasarani. I remember vividly, at Kasarani when we had the World Junior Athletics, the under-17, and I remember that race very well. It was the 4x4 mixed relays when Dos Santos of Brazil thought he had everything, but Mary Moraa, the last 200 meters, just brought it home for Kenya. Mary Moraa, karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you so much.
Karibu sana, and congratulations for all the good work happening there. And when we talk athletics, now we are talking Kisii Express. I look at your story, how you started off going to school, running all the way, how you are given transport to go for a championship. The rest is history, but you're still making history. How has it been for you?
I can say it was a long journey to me. If I start to explain about it, it's a long story, so I must cut it along.
Please.
Yeah. Okay, I can say my name is Mary Moraa. I come from Kisii County, near River Masaba. I come from the village of Obwari, but I grew up in my grandmother's village at Nyangononi. That's where I started my school when I was young, and that's where I started running in the primary school. until when I reached in high school. And nasa sema ilikuwa a long journey to me because tuliachwa tukiwa wadogo na ilikuwa challenge kwangu ama kwa my siblings wenye tuliachwa. Kukimbia kwangu nilikuwa nasikia wakisema my mom alikuwa anakimbia and my elder sister alikuwa anakimbia, so it was like akiwa kwa uwanja tunatishiana, kama nitamshinda leo nikienda nyumbani mimi nitakaa afanye kazi yote, nikimshinda akae pia mimi nifanye kazi yote. So from there that's nilirealize kumbe naweza kimbia tu. Nilikuwa nakimbia pole pole high school. Primary hakuna mtu mwenye alikuwa anakuona ukimbia ukiwa mdogo. But the time nilifika high school, nilipata good principal, akanishika mkono na akanielekeza, akaniambia concentrate na hii mbio ama kitu fulani, at least utakuja kukimbia ukue somewhere. That's how I started running.
It's important and to call out that you start from a humble beginning, a Commonwealth champion, Olympics. You came that close and you carried Kenya's time as we moved on. A lot to talk about. Remember, we are here with Mary Moraa, who is also Commonwealth champion, has put Kenya to the map, and one of the ladies that we are currently celebrating here in the country, and not just in the country, celebrated globally. How was it like for you winning and becoming the Commonwealth champion?
I can say in 2017 that was the first event enye nilikimbia huku Kenya na nikapata medal kwa 400 meters, and haikuangi rahisi sisi kama Africa nikupata hiyo medal, but nilipata hiyo chance, nikaletea country yangu medali na nikafurahia. From there nikavumilia, nikaingia junior Pichan, nikapata gold ya junior bado, ndio nikakuja nikaingia All African Games ilikuwa 2019, ndio nikapata qualification ya kunipeleka World Championship yenye ilikuwa Doha Qatar 2019. So nikiwa nimefika semi finali nilipewa line 9 na nikasema nitafika juu kitambo nigeuke huko mwenye ako hapa amefika. It was yani niliruhusu hope kabisa juu nilikimbia nikakuwa number 4 na sikupata ile qualification ya kuniweka finali. So nilikuwa nalia tu hapo nauliza sasa mimi nimekuja kufanya nini? Tu niliona the likes of my mentor Eren Obiri amepata medal, Beatrice Chepkoech, kina Faith wamepata medal, so mimi sina kitu, niko tu. So nilikuwa nalia tu kwa uwanja, but wakakuja wakani encourage, wakaniongelesha, wakaniambia ni transit from 400 to 800 at least, naweza pata management, naweza pata sponsor. Na nikakuja nikatrain, nikafika 2020 ndio nikapata management from my company Koraso na Germany ndio baba yangu, yeye ndiye alinielekeza huko na nikapata hiyo management. At least hiyo mwaka nikapata race, nikaenda ngambo, nikakimbia na nikapata qualification ya kwenda Tokyo Japan. Kufika Japan nilikimbia nikafika semi finali kwa mita 800. So kurudi nilikuja nikasema lazima nijitume niweke bidii nipate medali kama watu wengine. Kafika 2022 kenda World Championship nikapata bronze. From then kaingia Commonwealth nikapata gold. Na nikaingia final Diamond League nikapata trophy ya Diamond League. Then 2023 kakuja the same nikaingia sasa World Championship. Mari nilipata gold na nikapata
picha ambazo zinaonyesha vile unakimbia, huwa ukishaweka kifua mbele sasa ni mwenye ataweza tupatane mbele.
2023 nikapata hiyo gold na nikapata final Diamond League, and sikuwa natarajia, so I was like ni mimi ama ni mtu mwingine ama ni Mary Moraa mwingine, sikuamini. So nikaendelea tu na mazoezi nikiwa napata some encouragement from my mentor Eren, my coach na chairman akiwa hapa kama boss wa management yetu. So wakiwa wamekufika karibu wakikuongelesha lazima utake hiyo advice kutoka kwao, at least ndio useme kama yeye alifanya akafika somewhere, what about mimi? Nikijituma na nikuwe na my own principles na discipline ikue hali ya juu, first of all utakuwa somewhere. Then last year tukakuja tulikuwa nini Paris Olympics. Nilikimbia nikapata bronze. From that nikaenda final Diamond League. Nikarudisha ile yenye ilienda 2023 sasa nikalikafa imerudi, but kuna kitu sikupata yenye mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa na target, ambapo penye saa hii na target nasema mpaka ni achieve ile kitu, at least ndio ni feel niko sawa
kabisa.
Yes.
Chairman, how does it make you feel hearing such a humble story, humble beginning, and giving the right advice? Because from 400 graduating to 800, there must have been something that you know, and the rest of the team must have seen and said, you know what, she needs to graduate from 400 to 800. And in 800, she's been, you know, the darling of Kenyan crowds. In Kipkeino Classic, when we saw Moraa, the crowd just goes wild because she is one of our own whom we are very proud of.
Abidi, I think, to be honest, she has really summarized how far she has come from. I'm really impressed with Mary. And I remember vividly during the championship, during under 18, when she was running the relay. You know, when they call her name, I always tell her, you know, that confidence changed how I perceived her. When her name was called, you know, she put her hand and she went like this. In front of person. Then I say, this girl, you know, she has that courage.
Yes.
And then amazingly, she beat Dos Santos.
Dos Santos, yes.
When she finished, I don't know whether she remembers, I told her, you'll be the champion. You are going to be the champion. Because really what I saw in her, that determination, that fire in her, reflects the mentality of a champion. Completely. You can see now this person is fired up, determined, and focused on what she wants to achieve. And I told her, you'll ask me one day, you'll be a champion. And I can that's what she became. And she has not even reached where she's going.
No.
Not yet. She has not reached there. It's just not even half. She still have a long way to go. And I'm sure that she's going to achieve more in the coming years, especially the World Championship this year. And as she says, that now she has to focus in 2028 because she missed narrowly this one, the Olympics. She has to get that one, 2028. This one is going through the World Championship with these two, but then she has to go that one. By the time she gets there, she will be ready to conquer again the Olympics. Because that is what I dream for her. Because she's really, she has a very tough mind, and very few athletes have got that mindset. You know, athletics requires mentality. You have to be very tough. If you are able to face the thousands of people in the stadium and say, I'm going to do this, then it shows something about that personality. She has that personality, and if she focuses to achieve what she wants,
she will.
I am not afraid of what she will be okay. She will do well.
Mary Moraa, kuna imani kwa Wakenya na wamekuamini sana. Tunavyoangalia baadhi ya picha za Olimpiki, jinsi ulivyokimbia katika mbio ambazo umekimbia, inaonyesha ya kwamba ukishafika mita 100 huwa umeenda kabisa na kuna kwa kukusumbua. Pengine tueleze tu mwaka huu tutarajie nini kama Wakenya kutoka kwako?
Naweza sema hii mwaka pato tuko na kazi. I kama Mary Moraa, I'm the training world champion, na niko na kiparua lazima nichitume. Ile kitu nilienda nikawaletea kama Wakenya, nikaletea kama country yangu, lazima nichitume niende tena, nirudishe, nisiwachilie iende. So lazima nikuwe na hiyo focus nikisema 2023 nilipata World Championship gold medalist. What am I going to do this year, his season? And that is the main event, and that is my big target for this season because I'm going to defend it.
Na ukielekea kule kutetea hilo taji ambalo kama Wakenya tunakuombea na tunakutakia kila laheri, mazoezi imekuwa vipi? Unasikia mwili iko sawa? Na mazoezi unapoendelea kufanya mazoezi mwili inakubali, na unaonaje mwelekeo mbele iko sawa?
Naweza sema kwa sasa tumekuwa tukifanya roading, maybe from next week but one day tutaingia speed work. Because wenye wanaenda Hindu already sahi wameenda, kuna wenye wamecompete last week na kuna wenye wametravel jana, but mimi sababu siendi huko na niko na my target, siwezi sema sahi mwili uko somewhere, but ikifika on that time takuwa nawaambia mwili iko sawa ama iko sawa. But for now I'm just focusing with the training.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Tunakutakia kila laheri.
Thank you.
Na baadhi ya vitu ambavyo tumeona kwako Mary Moraa ni kwamba kuna ile nidhamu. Huwa hauonekani kwenye mitandao, inaonekana ni kama umeweka mawazo yako kwenye mazoezi na umeamua ni mazoezi peke yake. Nidhamu ni baadhi ya vitu ambavyo kama mwanariadha alivyosema chairman hapo mbeleni ni kitu cha maana. Je, huwa unajibeba vipi kuhakikisha kwamba huingii kwa mambo ya dunia, huingii kwenye mitandao, unazingatia tu mazoezi yako?
Naweza sema mambo na social media inakuanga mingi. Sometimes unaweza pata, for example, kama mimi Mary Moraa, wewe sasa umechukua picha yangu na umeenda umepost. Mtu anaweza kuja comment vile anataka, mwingine atakuja andike vibaya, kuna mwenye ataandika vizuri. So unasema my focus ni kutafuta kitu fulani. So ukienda kuchieka huko imepostiwa usikie vibaya, ni wewe mwenyewe utaumia. So you need to focus, hata ukiona nini may happen, it's you. Yani naweza sema be you. Ukuwe na your own principle. Hata ukiona hiyo kitu huko isikusumbue, isikupee stress. Reason kuna kitu una target na umefocus nayo. Hiyo ingine unawachana tu nayo. Jua itakusaidia.
Umegonga ndipo ya kwamba zingatia tu mazoezi yako, hayo ya kando achana nayo.
Yes.
Je, kuna dalili ya pengine tutamwona Mary Moraa akikimbia mita 1500?
I think this is season I have a race where I'm going to compete 800 and 1500 from April, maybe from 25 to 26. Kuna race nitaenda maybe kama leo nimecompete kwa 1500, the following day naingia kwa 800. Yeah.
Chairman, looks like there is a plan to ensure that Mary Moraa gradually transition. So she started off with 400, went to 8, now she's already talking about 1500 meters, which is a very good way because there is a structure you can clearly see. What's the plan?
The plan she's explaining is also with a coach. The coach is also a very good person, a very good coach, can give good guidance. You know, the combination of 1500 and 800, basically at this moment, is to strengthen, especially at the finish when you are running 800 meters. The 1500 will allow you now to maintain that posture when you're running the endurance. So you'll get the speed in the 800 or 400 meters, but then now the 1500 will give her the endurance. And when it comes now to championship also, like World Championship, when you are going for the hits and the semis and the others, then you have to build that stamina to go through that. So at the moment, in my opinion, because I have not asked her, is that when you run the 1500, it is part of preparation for the 800 meters, which would also help her. And of course, who knows, in the future, she'll definitely try the 1500. So you wait and see now. That is part of the testing, part of the preparation, and I think this is a very good plan. And if you continue like that to focus mainly on training and a few competitions, good things will come.
Good things will come.
Yes.
Mary, kwa mfano huwa uko na pressure, tunaangalia hapo baadhi ya mbio ambazo mmekimbia, Wakenya wamekimbia, na utaona ya kwamba wanapotaja jina lako pale nje, huwa umebeba milioni na mamilioni ya Wakenya, karibu milioni 50 na zaidi. Huwa uko na pressure wakati mbio inaanza ama wakati pengine mbio inaelekea kuisha?
Pressure huwa inakuanga hata before, hata ukiwa unafanya jogging. Because kila mtu mwenye unamuona hapo kama mnakimbia event moja, ametrain, amefocus, ile kitu yenye unataka pia yeye ndio anataka. So lazima kuange na tension, pressure inakuanga juu, but ujitume.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Na umemtaja Obiri kama mentor wako ambaye pengine amekushikilia. Kuna nyakati zingine pengine ukienda kukimbia huwa mnawasiliana ama unaweza mnongonezea no ni ncho?
Yeah, we normally talk. mwenye naenda kukimbia ama yeye anaenda kukimbia, lazima tuongee before niingie kwa uwanja ama before ingie kwa uwanja. Normally anani encourage, ananiambia go and do your best. Huwezi jua yenye Mungu amekupangia. Ile yenye utapata unakubali, unaridhika nayo. Yes.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
Kwa hivyo huwa mnawasiliana, mnazungumza mara kwa mara?
Yes, tunaongeanga naye sana. Even yesterday tulikuwa naye, tulikuwa tunaongea vitu mingi, mambo na mazoezi. Unajua kuna race mwezi wa 4, so na ananiambia mwezi wa 4 pia wewe ndio unafungua season. So si unaona hapo akiniambia, na kama hata kama niko mdogo kuna kitu naweza mwambia aichukulie serious, but sasa yake mimi nitaitake ikuwe serious because ni vitu amepitia. Alianza kukimbia kitambo, ako na hiyo experience ya kukimbia.
Na je, kukimbia kwa wanawake wengine tunamwona Beatrice Jebet, kuna Faith Kipyegon, nawe sasa pia uko hapo, inaonyesha kwamba wanawake wa Kenya wanaweza. Je, ungemuhimiza vipi msichana ambaye kwa sasa nakutizama nasema pengine siku za usoni ningependa kuwa kama Mary Moraa?
Naweza sema kama Beatrice Jebet tunamuitanga Meja. Tulianza kukimbia na yeye 2017 tukiwa junior. Na atushaiwachana kwa any race naweza enda nipate ako kwa race na mimi niko hapa. So ni ile encouragement na ile focus yuko nayo. Kitu yenye naweza ambia young upcoming athlete wenye wanakuja wa focus, wasikize kitu yenye wanaambiwa. Na kuna talents mingi unapatanga mtu anakuanga nayo. Kuna mwenye kama kuna masomo utachoose hiyo masomo usome. Kama ni kukimbia football nini unachoose. So kama mimi naweza sema, nilisema nikienda kwa mbio nitasaidika. So pia mimi na encourage, nawaambia kama uko na talent ya mbio wakuje tuwape hiyo encouragement, wakimbie wakuje kutusaidia, na kama ni masomo washikilie tu hapo, itakuja kuwasaidia in future.
Na tunavyofanya hivyo kuwasaidia, sababu ni wazo nzuri ambalo wasia nzuri ambao umewapa vijana chipukizi ambayo wanainuka kwenye mambo na riadha. Je, kuna dalili za pengine tunaweza ona rekodi ikianguka?
Naweza sema hiyo inakuchanga. For example, acha niseme kama Faith, mwenye alienda kukimbia Moraa, kwa ameendea rekodi. But alipata mwili imemove na imekupali akafunza hiyo record. So ukiwa umejiamini kwa race, anything can happen. Yeah. Ikikuja ni sawa, isipokuja ni sawa, tunakupali yote. Yeah. Lakini
kwa hivyo tuiache tuko sasa, itategemea jinsi mwili iko na siku iko siku hiyo. Yote yawezekana.
Yeah.
Na pengine sasa tuangalie, umetaja Olimpiki pengine mwaka 2028 ni lengo ambalo uko nalo. Kwa sasa tunaongelea mambo na World Championships. Mazoezi kuelekea vile umeipanga vipi? Utakimbia Grand Prix, utakimbia mbio za pengine Kipkeino Classics, ama bado mnafanya mpangilio kuhakikisha ratiba kuelekea kwenye World Championships itakuwa sawa? Kuna mbio ambazo pengine umeweka kwenye orodha?
Naendanga na mazoezi, coach ikifika time yeye mwenyewe atasema sasa unaweza enda kwa race fulani, mwili uko sawa, utakompete. So hiyo orodha yote ni coach ako na, atakwambia unafaa kwenda hii race, uende na hii, because our big target ni kwenda World Championship.
Mazoezi ni wapi? Ngong, Kapsabet ama ni pande gani?
Mazoezi na kuanga hapa tu Ngong, Kasarani na Nyayo Stadium.
Na Nyayo.
Yeah.
Chairman, sina la kuongezea sababu Mary Moraa inaonekana ni kwamba ameshapanga mambo yake na amepangilia. Inaonekana ya kwamba unavyoenda kukimbia umeitwa pale kwenye call room. Hebu tupe tafsira. Umefika call room sasa, ni wewe peke yako, ni wewe na Mwenyezi Mungu. Unavyoangalia wanariadha wengine, unaangalia unasema hapa si leo kitakuwa ni kibarua. Hebu tupe tafsira. Huwa vipi pale kwenye call room? Sasa uko peke yako, wa Kenya wanangoja kukuona kwenye starting line.
Naweza sema ukiwa hapo call room, sometimes hata unashindanga hata kuchange. Kufuata learning kit peke yake, ukiwa unaiguza unatetemeka. Because ukikumbuka all Kenyans macho iko kwako. Ukikumbuka wale fans wenye uko nao macho iko kwako. So lazima useme wacha tu nijitume, usiwa disappoint. At least uwape hiyo encouragement. Next wakisikia kama me for example, Faith ako anakimbia race fulani ama Moraa ama Helen ama Beatrice, watakuwa anasema hata unapata mtu ameweka haram Beatrice anakimbia masaa fulani, sitalala. Reason, wanajua kitu yenye ataleta ni kitu mzuri. So lazima ukuwe na hiyo focus. Hata ukiona mtu wako Korir mnasema kama yeye atakimbia pia mimi lazima nitakimbia. Because we are the same, we are all of us, we are women. So tukiwa hapo we are equal. Ni wewe na Mungu wako sasa mwenye atakufikisha huko.
Wewe na Mungu wako mwenye atakufikisha. Remember, this has been a discussion with 800-meter champion Mary Moraa with us in studio. We've also had Mr. Barnaba Korir, chairman, Nairobi Athletics Kenya Federation chairman, and of course with us in studio. It's been a pleasure and honor, to host you. Thank you very much. Wishing you all the best, Mary Moraa, in your endeavors, and praying that you break the world record. Chairman, we'll be keeping an eye next weekend on what's happening in Eldoret, including the Sirikwa and the Kip Keino Classic. On behalf of everyone who's made this transmission possible, the transmission controller, the director, the producer, the cameraman, the camera ladies, we want to say thank you very much for having kept us company. We want to really appreciate all the work. Thank you very much, and keep it KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.